Hello, Captain Purple here. And before I go on the video, I want to say this isn't rum. Normally this is rum or water or something. Sometimes in videos I'll be drinking water out of this thing. I'll play it off like I've been drinking rum. It's fun, or wine or whatever. No, today is orange juice. Captain Purple's a little sick, not feeling so good lately, or the past few days. So, anyways, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some of today's video, mainly for the word pronunciation, or mainly for the words. I'm going to slaughter the pronunciations right off the bat. Some of them I'm going to tell you that right now. But then there's some other stuff in here that right now I can't quite keep down. Yeah, like I said, not feeling good, but it's what I want to do this on. So this might be more than, this is probably going to be more than just this video. It's probably going to be like a several part video. I'm not quite sure how many though. So anyways, that being said, oh, I want to sleep. That being said, let's get on with the video, shall we? Anywho, so like I said before, that the earliest recorded acts of piracy, the earliest recordings of piracy was in the 1400s BC, around the end of the Bronze Age. The Bronze Age ended about, what was it? Ooh, pardon me. 1250 BC, 1150 BC, somewhere in that region. Could even be 1300s BC. I don't know. I'm going to touch more on that later. And there's actually some pretty interesting stuff when I touch into that too. I'm going to. That's probably going to be a several part video as well. Instead of sitting down for 2 hours talking, for one, this camera doesn't have that good a battery, and two, I don't want to do a 2 hour video, and I don't think anybody wants to watch a 2 hour video. I mean, come on, I'm not the History Channel or anything like that, where I got the little video clips and dramatic reenactments. Let's face it, I'm just a man with a cheap video camera. I guess now would be time to push for my GoFundMe account, which I got going on, to try to get better equipment, such as this, better, clothing, my captain's coat, and so on and so forth. I'll get to that later, if I do. Anyway, so, like I said, like I said, also the piracy is said to be the second oldest profession in the world. I guess predating the 1400s, the Bronze Age, and so on and so forth. What they call prehistory, which is, I've never gotten that. It's history before history. So the word piracy itself, the word is interesting. Like I said, I'm going to have to read some of this off of here because there'd be no way I'd be able to even remember these pronunciations. I apologize for slaughtering the pronunciations, but let's see, the roots of the word piracy come from an ancient Greek, and I don't know what the Greek word is. I can't read Greek. Or, I guess, written in English, but it's still Greek. It's pyrome, somewhere close to that, meaning attempt. In other words, attempting murder, attempting theft, it's basically attempt of crime, I guess. Anything from attempt to rob for personal gain, so on and so forth. And then it morphed into, again, a word I can't read in the Greek writing. Apparently the Greek word is pirates, meaning brigand. And then which that turned into the Latin for pirata, which I don't even have to look at the paper for that. It's cool. Which is where we get the term pirate from now, and then the modern English word for pirate, and then it was frequently referred to by ancient Greeks as liestes, liestes, something like that. It's basically the same word used for land-based thieves. Now, according to this, these documents, a number of geographic and economic characteristics of the classical world basically were made up of, I'm going to read this word for word. It was an environment of, it was an environment that really invited and encouraged piracy. The way it was set up, for example, the coast of Mediterranean were particularly favorable by by piracy, and pirates in general. The rocky shorelines, which suited for really no like farming, but more or less for, from what I understand, reading this, more or less for port towns. I will get into this on another video, but apparently they also made like, I might get into it in this video too. They made like what would basically be is like, it basically port towns, fishermen, like fishing towns and so on and so forth. It'd be generally like a town not far from, or like a port not far from a town, or connected to a town, where to do all their import exporting and fishing. And then generally that's how the people there lived, and they got bored of, you know, once they got bored of fishing, or they wanted to create a better way, or, you know, without being under the thumb of somebody else, they decided to go their own way and become and raid, you know, pirates. Not raid pirates, they became pirates and raided other cultures and civilizations as well, generally up and down the Mediterranean coastlines there at first, for starters. It was very where did it go? Where did it? I read something in here. Yeah, so the seafaring skills. Yeah, the fishermen developed seafaring skills and navigation knowledge. It's in here somewhere. The land trade routes going on this. Land trade routes were few and far between, so that's when they developed the seafaring routes. And when the fishermen would get bored, they would pretty much go after the seafaring. You know, they would apply thieving trades and attack the Mediterranean seafarers that would get cargo from one end to the other, which were basically, a lot of these were also land thieves as well that went on and did this, and that's why when the land trades, the trails for the land trades were, you know, not so plenished. That's when they would take to the seas, because they knew the well, that's actually when that's when a lot of the, it kind of, I guess, apparently from what I understand, it went swapping back and forth when they were tired of getting robbed on land. They generally would swap a lot of their trade to the coastal regions, and then when the that dried up for the land thieves, then they would take to the seas, because, you know, well, that's where it was going, and then they would swap back and forth. Both parties would swap back and forth. Then they would go to land trades, but not so much though on the land trading. The land trading was more or less done locally, or not very far. So if you had, for example, a few miles to get from, you know, your port to you know, a town to trade, you know, goods, and you might do the land trade. Or if you had like 15 miles to get from one, but yet that city rested on a coastal line, you would take them. You would take the the sea path, before you would take the land path to trade your goods. So when the like I said, when land thieves kind of got there was no work for them, they would take the high seas pirate. And basically, a lot of this back and forth switching of land and sea travel, merchanting, was basically due to the fact that the from what I understand, the sea lines for travel were very restricted, and they were oh, where did it go? Trade vessels. They had to hug the coast, and they actually had lanes like we do with our roads, from what I understand, reading this. So your left lane, your right lane, or however they had it. You had your lanes for coming out. You had your lanes for going in. Yeah, and at the time it was it was restricted. It was restricted to not the open oceans. It was you couldn't. Hold on. What I mean is, it was restricted to within the region. It was not, it wasn't open to traveling over the ocean to go from this port of call to, I don't know, England or something like that. These were, or what England was at the time. I'll find that out. But you know what I'm saying. It wasn't. You couldn't just. You're restricted to the areas you could travel. You couldn't really go very far. So really, it was just kind of a. It was just kind of a whole breeding ground for the whole piracy trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this video on this note right now, and I'm going to break this up into a several part video. I'll go more thoroughly into it, the geographic and economic characteristics and such later. I didn't just read that line. Maybe I did. I'll get more into that later in probably the next video as well. I'll probably do this. I'll probably do this series on the what they call, like I said, the prehistory of piracy. Prehistory. I'll probably do a little bit of a series on prehistory of piracy. I'll do a few videos on this until I wrap up this, and then I'll do throw in another video like the last video, where it really is not like, instead of moving into the end of the Bronze Age and the development of piracy, or development of piracy, it expanded and everything. Then I will I'll probably do another video like it's a throw-in video there again. Maybe Doug, I might do the eye patch one. All right. If you enjoyed watching this, please like and like this video, or comment if you want. If you like me, please subscribe to my channel if you're like how this is going with her. Again, I'm new, so really I'm just really getting my bearings. Eventually I'll be able to do video. I'll be able to do stuff like sound effects. I'll have like music sometimes set up. I'll be doing some music in the background. I'm just really not too equipped right now to be doing all the high-end, not really the high-end, but all the extra stuff that other YouTube channel people do, other YouTube performers do, and so on and so forth. So again, please subscribe, like, and share my video. Yeah, share, that's what I was looking for. Comment if you feel like it. And again, I'm putting another link, again, like every video, like I said, on every video I'm going to put a link to my Facebook page. So if you found me on YouTube and you want to know how to follow me on other stuff, or my Facebook page, I'll be putting all the stuff, like a lot of the other stuff, where I'm going to be at, events I'm going to go to when it warms up, and all kinds of other stuff, photos and videos not taken by me. What I mean is, if there's a video of me taken at a rendezvous or a pirate festival or something like that, it'll go to my Facebook page. A lot of interesting stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun between here and there. So again, thank you for watching, and God bless.